But I also don't feel like my expectation is unreasonable, but maybe it's just because that's how I've always lived. I've lived, you know, not in the cleanest of houses, obviously, but it's like things are in order, and they get put back in order in a fairly timely fashion, at least for me. I try to. I know when I live on my own, I try to, because it's part of the reason it keeps me feeling safe and secure is when I can have order in my living area. As long as there's order, there's just less stress to me.
That makes perfect sense. There's nothing unreasonable about that. Do you think I was saying, or do you feel like there might be something unreasonable about it?
No, I'm not. I've seen, you know, wife swaps. Some wives are, you know, people are crazy about, you know, every little piece of lint that falls drives them crazy. I'm not like that. I just, especially when I know it's going to,
No, you're not.
But it's like, I see a lot of houses and their cabinets are, you know, not covered in poo, and they're closed and everything's in order, everything's in a place. It might not be the neatest, but it's all there. It's like, okay, this is fine, yeah, this is good. The next level would be to like polish and shine every day. Now that's crazy. And maybe if if someone did that, if that was the thing, then maybe I would take more notice and be like, oh yay, all the wood fixtures got repolished today. Like, I'm gonna get excited. And if they're not polished, I'm gonna have a fit. It's like, it's a even balance. I'm not either elated or unhappy. It's just balanced. And I feel like that's all I should expect. And so when there's trash and stuff left out and kind of there's this disorder look to it, it goes more into the stressing disorder side, and so I am more like this. And the only way it really kind of turns this way is if, like, I don't know, like I said, I got a new piece of furniture, I replaced old furniture, got the walls repainted, something big. But this is fine, and I like being this. Cabinets are closed, clothes off the floor, things relatively in order and clean.
Yeah.
And I guess in my mind, it's not asking for much to expect to shut a cabinet door or put clothes off the floor and into the hamper, or pick the tissue up or take the wrapper off the counter. Like, to me, that's not asking much. Because it tips the scale like that much. But when it's so easy to go back to this just by putting those things back in order, then like, go ahead, do it. It's small. It doesn't take hardly any effort in my mind. But that's because that's how I work, and I know that's not necessarily how you work. And especially when you're on a track of doing something and that's all you're focused on doing, and then once you finish that, you move on to the next thing, not necessarily rewinding back to your previous steps of how you got there. Like, I noticed one thing you do is when you get Band-Aids out, a lot of times the Band-Aid wrappers are still left on the counter. And it's just like, trash can's right next to you. How did you miss that? But it's because your focus is on getting the Band-Aid on the finger, feeling better, okay, feeling good, leaving now. And that's it, because you're going back to doing whatever you were doing.
That's true.
In my mind, though, the way it works is like, put a Band-Aid on, and then clean up the space I was in, and then go back to what I was doing. That's why when I cook, I clean as I go, because I want to leave it looking good once I'm done. One, because it's less work for someone else to do. Two, it makes me feel less stressed because I know the only things out right now are the food cooking and plates ready to be served. And that's all I have to think about in my space. I guess in that sense, women aren't ADD, but their attention is spread across multiple things at the same time. And so it's like, I have something in the oven, have something boiling, I unwrapped a bunch of things on the counter, and I need to put ice in all the glasses. And I'm going to get all those things done before I do anything else. I don't know. I mean, actually, even my own parents aren't like that. They cook and then leave it as it is. I'm like, I can't do that. It needs to be clean. It needs to be picked up.
Did you feel like there was a point in time when you were younger that it did take effort? Or
Yeah.
was it ever like, was it even a trial?
No, when I was little and I was first doing chores, I tried to do them really fast and get them done as fast as I could. But then along the way, I dropped something or something come undone or whatever, and my mom or dad are like, if you just take your time and do it right the first time, or if you just are more careful, or if you just make sure, you know, you get all that trash in the bin the first time, then you're not going to have effort later. But, if, you know, it's the idea of being careful with your steps. And I think that put into my mind, like, it takes less effort to just be careful and take a little bit more time to do it right then and there, instead of doing it all and then looking back and like, oh, I have to do this, this, and this because I wasn't as careful as I could have been. Or I get yelled at, not really yelled at, but like, you need to pick up that trash, you need to put your clothes away, you forgot that, this, you know, kind of same things I guess I say to you, that's what, you know, I was told when I was younger. And because the argument was like, it won't take you a lot of time, and then it'll be done, you have to think about it.
That's true.
But no, when I was little, I wasn't innately that way. I was like any kid who just wanted to get their chores done. I just remember hating to do chores and trying to rush through them, and then my mom and dad just being like, just do them right the first time, not to do them again.
Do you think maybe it bothers you a lot because when you were younger you were just told to do it a lot?
I think that's just how I was raised. Doesn't necessarily, it's not like because I had to do it when I was young, you have to do it. It's just because that's how I was taught. My mind is programmed to think like that.
I didn't think you're doing it vindictively since I've went through it. I'm just thinking that this makes sense, that you're kind of programmed to be that way.
I am. From a very young age. I also remember on our schoolwork in preschool, our teacher would make us redo things if we did it wrong. I remember specifically, I got really upset because we had to draw carrots growing. And I kept drawing my carrot above ground. I couldn't seem to figure out.
Tell me this.
Yeah. And I had to go back 3 different times and redraw the carrot underground before they let me move on.
Well, I do try to always, because I know it does bother you and I know it bothered my family.
Okay, talking.
Okay.
And so they hooked up a conversation on Facebook and then started calling each other. So she's raised in Austin and lives in Hutto and has no connection with North Carolina, really.
Interesting.
So, well, I mean, there is a connection, but in like 2 generations back, but nothing that she does currently. We've never been over here, so.
Where did John go?
We went to the monument cafe in Georgetown.
I am not feeling well. My nose has been running, and my sinuses are acting up, and every time I breathe in through my nose, it makes me sneeze. So, I'm having to make sure all my sinuses are covered so I don't sneeze everywhere. And if you sneeze, I sneeze so much, sometimes my back starts hurting. The muscle actually starts giving out. It's very strange. Or, I don't know, muscles give out. It hurts. But Kara went through all her old boxes because she's getting everything ready. And she has all these neat writing books. She's a writer. She loves to write. And she loves Japan. She went to Japan 2 years in a row for do some mission work. And she likes Japanese a lot. So here's a bunch of, oh boy, goodness. She has a bunch of Japanese books. Like here's a basic kanji book. And it's a bunch of things that are really hard to understand and this camera's not going to adjust. All that is to say, it's all really cool memories and whatnot. Here's a manga Bible. Isn't that neat? The whole entire Bible in manga form. Seriously. Let's see. She also likes to draw, and so she got this creature creator book by the guy who makes Magic the Gathering cards. Or one of the people who does, which is really super cool. So yeah, packing things, getting things ready, it's really exciting, and I hope I start feeling better. That would be great. Anytime soon now. Olaf, what do you think? Olaf? Talk to me. Okay then, Olaf. You just sit there. You sit there and do your thing. Okay then. My tissue box.